Explain the perspectives of Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, and Sikhism. I will also provide some text or scripture references to support each view. Let's start with Christianity. Christians believe that marriage is a sacred institution or a holy ordinance of God. They also consider marriage as a holy sacrament or a sacred mystery, depending on the denomination. Christians view marriage as a divinely blessed, lifelong, monogamous union between a man and a woman. They base their understanding of marriage on the biblical teachings of Jesus and the apostles, such as, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Genesis 2 verse 24 ESV. So they are no longer two but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate. Matthew 19 verse 6 ESV. Wives, submit to your own husbands, as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife even as Christ is the head of the church. Husbands, love your wives, as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Ephesians 5 verses 22 to 25 ESV. Christians also value the purposes of marriage, such as companionship, mutual support, procreation, and sexual intimacy. However, they also acknowledge that marriage is not necessary for everyone, and that some people may have the gift of celibacy or choose to remain single for the sake of God's kingdom. Next, let's look at Islam. Muslims believe that marriage is a contract or a covenant between a man and a woman that establishes their rights and obligations in relation to each other and to God. They also regard marriage as a sunnah or a prophetic tradition that reflects the example of Muhammad. Muslims view marriage as a social and legal institution that promotes peace, harmony, love, mercy, and compassion among the spouses and their families. They base their understanding of marriage on the Quran and the Hadiths, such as, "And among his signs is this, that he created for you mates from among yourselves, that you may dwell in tranquility with them, and he has put love and mercy between your hearts. Verily in that are signs for those who reflect." Quran 30:21. You have rights over your women and your women have rights over you. Your rights over your women are that they are not to allow anyone whom you dislike to tread on your bedding and furniture, nor allow anyone whom you dislike to enter your houses. And their right over you are that you should treat them kindly with regard to their clothing and food. Hadith narrated by Muslim. The best of you are those who are best to their wives. Hadith narrated by Tirmidhi. Muslims also value the purposes of marriage, such as companionship, mutual support, procreation, sexual intimacy, and protection from immorality. However, they also recognize that marriage is not obligatory for everyone, and that some people may have valid reasons to remain unmarried or to divorce. Moving on to Hinduism. Hindus believe that marriage is a sacred bond or a samskara between a man and a woman that transcends this life and extends to the next 7 lives. 3. They also consider marriage as a dharma or a duty that fulfills one's social and spiritual obligations. Hindus view marriage as a divine union that reflects the cosmic harmony between the male and female principles. They base their understanding of marriage on the Vedas and other scriptures, such as, "This woman is given to you in trust by the gods. Treat her well. May she bring you happiness here in this world and in heaven." Rig Veda 10.85.37. The husband should always be pleased by his wife, he should never show any anger towards her, he should always maintain her like his own mother, he should always speak pleasantly with her, he should never address her harshly. Manu Smriti 9.4. The wife is half the man, she is his friend, she is his source of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, without her he cannot perform any religious rites. Brihaspati Smriti 26.1-2. Hindus also value the purposes of marriage, such as companionship, mutual support, procreation, sexual intimacy, and spiritual growth. However, they also acknowledge that marriage is not mandatory for everyone, and that some people may renounce worldly life and pursue asceticism or monasticism. Now let's turn to Buddhism. Buddhists believe that marriage is a secular affair or a social convention between a man and a woman that does not involve any religious authority or ceremony. They also consider marriage as a karma or a volitional action that has consequences for one's present and future lives. Buddhists view marriage as a personal choice that depends on the mutual consent and compatibility of the spouses. They base their understanding of marriage on the teachings of the Buddha and the ethical principles, such as: in 5 ways should a wife as the Western direction be respected by a husband, by honoring, not disrespecting, being faithful, sharing authority, and by giving gifts. And, the wife so respected reciprocates with compassion in 5 ways, by being well organized, being kindly disposed to the in-laws and household workers, being faithful, looking after the household goods, and being skillful and diligent in all duties. Sigalovada Sutta. If both husband and wife want to see one another not only in the present life but also in the life to come, they should be in tune with each other, in conviction, in tune in virtue, in tune in generosity, and in tune in discernment. Then they will see one another not only in the present life but also in the life to come. Samajivina Sutta. As long as they live, the wise show their love for their spouses. They do not oppress them or look down on them. They speak to them gently and give them good advice. They are faithful to them and respect their wishes. They support them with their wealth and protect them from harm. They do not abandon them when they are sick or in trouble. They share their joys and sorrows with them. Dhammapada Commentary. Buddhists also value the purposes of marriage, such as companionship, mutual support, procreation, sexual intimacy, and moral development. However, they also recognize that marriage is not essential for everyone, and that some people may choose to remain single or to follow the path of celibacy or monasticism. Next up is Judaism. Jews believe that marriage is a sacred covenant or a brit between a man and a woman that establishes their relationship with each other and with God. They also consider marriage as a mitzvah or a commandment that fulfills one's religious and moral obligations. Jews view marriage as a divine partnership that reflects the love and loyalty between God and Israel. 5. They base their understanding of marriage on the Torah and other sources of Jewish law and tradition, such as: therefore a man leaves his father and his mother and clings to his wife, and they become one flesh. Genesis 2 verse 24. You shall love your fellow as yourself, I am the Lord. Leviticus 19 verse 18. Be very careful if you make a woman cry, because God counts her tears. The woman came out of a man's rib. Not from his feet to be walked on. Not from his head to be superior, but from the side to be equal. Under the arm to be protected, and next to the heart to be loved. Talmud. Jews also value the purposes of marriage, such as companionship, mutual support, procreation, sexual intimacy, and sanctification. However, they also acknowledge that marriage is not obligatory for everyone, and that some people may have valid reasons to remain unmarried or to divorce. Finally, let's examine Sikhism. Sikhs believe that marriage is a sacred union or anand carriage between a man and a woman that binds them together in love and devotion. They also consider marriage as a spiritual journey or a rihat that leads them to God. Sikhs view marriage as an equal partnership that reflects the oneness of God and humanity. They base their understanding of marriage on the Guru Granth Sahib and other teachings of the Gurus, such as: they are not said to be husband and wife who merely sit together. Rather, they alone are called husband and wife who have one soul in 2 bodies. Guru Amar Das. In this world, union is obtained with great good fortune, it is an occasion of joy. The husband obtains his wife with great destiny upon his forehead, he enjoys her love with delight. Guru Nanak. The true Guru has shown me this way of life, I am wedded to my Lord. My love for my beloved is deep and profound, I sing his glorious praises day and night. Guru Arjan. Sikhs also value the purposes of marriage, such as companionship, mutual support, procreation, sexual intimacy, and spiritual growth. However, they also recognize that marriage is not compulsory for everyone, and that some people may choose to remain single or to adopt celibacy.